what was the best thing about being in this movie? Was it the swimming, or was it beating the guys, or was it a combination of both?
That's all I did was swim. I didn't do anything else. No, it was great. We had an opportunity to get fit, and you don't get offered a film about male synchronised swimming too often, do you? That grab it with both hands.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it was a good bunch of blokes as well. That was nice.
Some of the guys were telling me about this move that you do in the movie where you have to pull everybody down over the shoulders and stuff, and you've given the same reaction as everybody else. I mean, was that the most challenging thing about it?
That was a tricky one. I can't remember what it was called. There were 4 of us in a row doing this sort of loop-de-loop sort of thing, and that was a tricky one. We got it right a few times. We got it wrong an awful lot of times. I didn't know where I was. I was underwater with somebody's feet around my neck, but yeah, it was challenging.
One of the great things I loved about the movie was that there's obviously lots of CGI movies out there, whereas you guys are in there doing everything, the cameramen are in there with you. It gives it such a great authenticity.
Yeah, it's obviously not body doubles. It's obvious that it's us doing it. It's all very low tech, and I think that's part of its charm, really, and that this very diverse group of actors, Rob Brydon, Rupert Graves, Thomas Turgoose, Andy Actor, Danny Mays, are all getting together and doing it for real, as with a sort of a genuine enthusiasm, and what we make up for in what we lack in sort of expertise, we make up for in enthusiasm and energy, I think.
Yeah. You've been pretty busy over the last year or so. We've interviewed you a couple of times. Have you got something lined up? What's next for you? Where do you go from here?
I'm not really sure. There's a few things floating about, but they all sort of happen so last minute. I've just got to wait for them all to sort of happen. Then they'll all happen bang, 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 hopefully.
You work with Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen?
Yeah, lovely. I think called The Good Liar. Lovely job with Helen and Ian, neither of whom have worked before. And they're made by a very nice American director, Bill Condon, who did Gods and Monsters and Beauty and the Beast. Fantastic guy. Had a great time with
that. I look forward to that one. Congratulations on the film.
Thanks.
It's great fun. When you got pitched the idea of a film called Swimming with Men, what was your kind of initial reaction in your head? I'm in. Easy.
Sold.
Easy decision.
Men that synchronised swim. Fucking genius.
Yeah,
I'm
I
in.
want to see that.
Can I not just see the film straight away? Do I have to be part of it? Can I just watch it right now?
Just give me 2 premiere tickets.
No. It was,
It's great. I mean, it's so much fun, but also has a lot of great themes and everything else. I mean, when you read the script for the first time, what was it that spoke to you about the film and also your character?
I think just the human connection. I think I really, personally, I love British films, and I love films that are about human connection and intimacy, and I think that we haven't seen a film about a group of middle-aged men being intimate and I just loved the beauty of the clumsy way that they find their way through the roller coaster that is life, and I love that and I watched the documentary that it's based on, and that just killed me, like the pathos of seeing men struggling and finding their raison d'etre in making shapes in a pool. I mean, it's beautiful.
I mean, they go through Rob and all the guys were saying the training they went through, and then all the different moves that they had to learn. I mean, when you were on set with them, seeing them do that, it must have been amazing to see them doing what they're doing. You're in there as well.
I did all the bloody training too. I nearly broke Rupert's neck. Yeah, no, it was great. But you do, and there's moments, and there's still moments in the film. I watched the film the other night when we were at the Edinburgh Festival. There's moments where I'm like, it's so sad. I'm still just sat there clapping, like, did you see them do it? Did you see it? And I was like, it's not even live. It's now just on the film, and I just get goosebumps from, it's really hard stuff that they're doing, and they do it all themselves. There's no stunt doubles. They are doing everything you see themselves, and it just gives me goosebumps every time. It's really hard stuff. So, maybe I've gone a bit too method.
In terms of acting and everything else, what's next for you? Have you got any exciting projects coming up?
Yeah, I've just finished a brilliant project for the BBC called Press, which is about journalism. It's kind of a tabloid and a broadsheet and how they approach their stories differently, with Ben Chaplin, which was really good fun, and a project called Dark Heart for ITV. Which is
very
great,
exciting, yeah. Very excited. And then for this one, I mean, audiences hopefully will go and see the movie. What do you hope that they kind of take away from the movie?
Do you know what? I just want, in this, the summer's given us brilliant football. She says, not knowing anything about football. I just heard the roars from my bedroom last night. I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, oh, it's England winning. Oh, okay, great. And I think, what better to follow that with a really brilliant British film about friendship and love, and that's funny. I mean, it just really heartwarming.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah.
So congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Great fun. When you were sold the idea, script, it's called Swimming with Men, what was your kind of initial reaction to the title?
To the title, I thought they were going to change the title. But I think, having seen the film, I think it's a great title because it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I mean, narratively and sort of emotionally too.
So you have a great relationship with Rob's character in this movie. Did that kind of give you did you reminisce about friendships you've had with men over the years? Have you bonded over sport? Or
I guess it's like any if you're going to use something in a non-real context, you always draw on your life. So yes, I guess it is. Yeah.
In terms of the swimming, what was the kind of hardest aspect? Because it seems like you do a lot of the stuff yourself, if not all the stuff yourself.
Yeah, we do it all ourselves. We do a move called the dolphin roll, where 4 of us lie on our backs, or 2 teams of 4, and you put your legs around someone's neck and you drag them backwards. Yeah. The trust element, because you're kind of underwater for maybe half a minute, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's have someone's legs around your neck and then pulling you for half a minute. You have to really trust the guy behind you.
Yeah, you have to do that a lot. Because I imagine you did it quite a few times.
Well, yeah, you have. I mean, the more you do it, actually, the less you panic. But
it's a fantastic cast as well, and a great director, Oliver Parker. Yeah, I mean, you're in great company. It must have been so much fun to make this one.
It was really, really fun. What was interesting, really, about the making of it, because it's all in the pool, you can't film it in a normal way. You can't have marks, and you can't have a camera on a dolly. You don't have to hit. It's all very abs. I mean, you do the scene several times. I didn't know what size lenses they were doing. They were just picking what they could. It was single camera most of the time.
Yeah.
It was, and so it just gave it a great element of improvisation, which was fun. We'd done 2 weeks boot camp, so we'd really got to know each other and kind of worked out the dynamics of the team.
Yeah, I mean the story and the themes of it are fantastic, and the shooting of it is amazing because it seemed you obviously did a lot of it for real, and the cameramen are in there with you. It's such a great, there's a lot of CGI stuff out there. This one, it seemed very, very real.
It's all real. There's no CGI at all. Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, I mean that. Once in a lifetime thing to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in my pants.
In your pants, yeah.
In my pants.
Just finally, I mean, obviously Sherlock, huge success. People still want more. Benedict and Martin are kind of busy with big superheroes, all that kind of stuff. Do you get a call to tell you what's happening, or are you still kind of in limbo?
I normally know from the fans if there's going to be one. I haven't heard.
Are you hopeful that it's going to be?
I hope so. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're brilliant. It's a brilliant thing to be involved with.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Had great fun. My first question though is, last night, did you have your England shirt on, or did you have your Columbia shirt on?
I support England. Of course I do. What am I? Some sort of xenophobe? My darling.
Good to see you. Really good. Good to see you.
Oliver Parker, director of the film, director of Swimming with Men. I'm in it. I'm the little Welsh chap. That's me.
I don't recognise the swim cap.
Without the swim cap. No, I'm not one of those Welsh people who wants the English to lose. I mean, sometimes if we play in England, but I think it's great for Britain, especially now where the country is so divided. It's so lovely to see something that everybody can agree on, And I was at a dinner once with Gareth Southgate. I sat next to him, and he was such an impressive man. So I'm thrilled for him. I really am.
Just talk about swimming for a minute. I say it's great fun. There's all you guys doing this swimming. I mean, what was the hardest thing in terms of like training? And then, because Rupert was telling us about the move you do, we have to pull everybody down.
There's a move called the loop. That's the hardest. We lie about 4 or 5 of us head to toe with the feet round the neck of the next person. And then you go skull backwards and you do a loop under the water. And you're down there as long as the team stays down there until you come up the other end. That was a real leap of faith because it's very rare that you're underwater and can't control when you come back up. That was hard. The sheer physicality and the strength you need for what these people do, it's very challenging. We trained 4 hours a day. It's a lot, isn't it? You give out these facts and we go, all right. When you stop and think about it, 4 hours in a pool, that's a lot. So we all lost weight, we all got a bit trim, and I was sleeping like a baby.
Waiting for the call from Marvel now to cast you as a superhero.
It's the natural next step, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic cast. You all have such great chemistry in it, and you bounce off each other really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been great to be amongst so many great actors, but also young up-and-comers as well.
Yeah, not so much the young up-and-comers. I'm not keen on those, but certainly the more established actors. I like Jim Carter, Thomas Turgoose, and people like that who are coming along. I try not to encourage that. It was great, and because we trained together, we bonded together during that training process. Often on a film, you sort of meet on the first day, really, and you've got to manufacture that chemistry. But we'd had a pretty, an endurance test of these 2 weeks of 4 hours a day, when we'd all schlep up to the Olympic diving pool and have to jump in. So yeah, we did bond.
You've made a couple of Hollywood films. I know you're in the new Holmes and Watson movie, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
How was it working with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly? Because together, I mean, people are so in love with them when they're together, and people are so excited to see what they're going to do to this legendary characters.
Working with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly is just a delight. I mean, they're both lovely. Will, because comedy's my thing, so Will is a big hero, and he turns out to be one of the nicest men in the world. And the best thing about him is he likes to be funny. He likes to make you laugh in between takes. So it was heaven.
Mr. Pickford, Mr. Turgoose, sorry. Confused.
Yeah. Played well last night, didn't I? Just got me check from Russia,
What was the reaction? Because this is great reaction on social media to you and Jordan. And
I'm blown up, baby. I'm viral.
You're viral. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You've got a job
and
down the
Pickford
line.
himself liked it as well.
You've got a job down the line. I mean, it could be a good story.
A doppelganger, for Jordan Pickford.
The biopic.
Yeah. That's what I tweeted him today, just saying. I said, hey Jordan Pickford, if you ever make a film about your life, mate, I'm in, I'm playing you. Yet to have a reply, but I guess it's quite busy, eh?
It's quite busy, with other things, Let me ask you about Swim with Gwen. It's fantastic, it's great fun, it's great messages. When you read the script for the first time, what was your kind of initial reaction to the character and also the story?
Well, the title straight away was like, oh God, all right. And then I read the script and Tom came into it and he was a breath of fresh air to the team. And by the end of it, you just think, wow, this kid's he's got such a big heart and he goes above and beyond to help his team. So for me, that was a massive boost towards joining the team. And I mean, it was just an honour to be alongside the cast as well, like Charlotte and Jim and Adil. I mean, it was an honour for me.
It seemed like Rob was saying it was quite a unique experience in that when you went into the movie, you'd already had 3 or 4 weeks together, so you didn't have to kind of manufacture the relationships. You'd been in together doing the training. I mean, that must have helped hugely getting into the game.
I mean, I didn't know anybody in this film on a personal level. We'd met a couple of them in and around the circuit, but from day one of the read through, I remember sitting next to Danny Mays, and I was like ringing my missus, I can't believe this is happening. But I mean, we all just twigged, we all just clicked straight away. We got on really well, and we just become this team. And then the 2-week training period that we had really helps us. We built this big bond of trust, which you need in a team, any team, whether it be football, swimming, anything. You need a lot of trust. And that's what we built, and hopefully it sort of comes across on screen.
One of the things I loved about the movie was the authenticity, in the sense that it's you guys in there with the cameraman, you're doing all of the swimming and everything else. It must have been great to see on screen that all your fruits of your labour were there on screen.
Sorry, say that again. Can't hear you, this knobhead's talking. Of course, and you can tell from watching it how hard we worked. But again, at the end, it was so rewarding. Like, we came off the back of this film. Other than Danny Mays, we was all super fit.
And you obviously always working. What's next for you? Anything exciting coming up?
A few exciting jobs. I've just wrapped on a feature film funded by the BFI called Looted, which is a follow-on from a short film we made a couple of years ago called Jacked. It's got a great cast. So that's coming. And there's a couple of things that I've got to read yet that I haven't got around to, so I hope my agent's not watching this.
At a time when the country's quite divided, this is quite a nice movie that brings everybody
Very good point.
together.
Yeah,
was that something that when you read the script you thought this is something that could bring...
No, that wasn't what I thought at all.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't what I thought. And I didn't think about middle-aged... I've just been asked a question about middle-aged men. None of those dilemmas. For me, it was simple. My brother's directing it. He's asked me to be in it. I wouldn't say no. I love working with Ollie. He's great fun to work with. And he finds things... directing movies must be hell for some people. I mean, and Ollie's... He's never had... me, I don't know if you know me at all, but I'm a racing man. I like my horse racing. So you've got nice flat tracks out there sometimes, like Doncaster. And then you've got Aintree, which is flat, but all these big jumps like that. And that's what it's like for Ollie, directing movies. Somebody's going along, everything's brilliant. And then suddenly someone throws a hurdle in front of him, or a fence the size of Beecher's Brook, and you want to go, oh, okay. And he handles it with panache and with style and with grace every time. And work. Actually, when you're filming with him, what's quite fun is that he tackles you more than any other director I've ever met on film. He will tackle every take, not just every scene or every setup. just let you get on with it and let you do stuff. He will just make sure you are doing what you want to do in the best way that you can.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely feeling. I mean, it's a really good feeling. Even if I generally hate watching myself, I will always like watching his movies.
Did you feel a bit jealous of the guys getting to do what they
Yes, I
get to
did,
do in the
completely.
movie?
I did, completely, yes. I think he must have just checked me out one day and went, I'm not having him. Maybe he thought I looked too fit, actually. Look at the poster of them behind. That could be it. No.
But you got to work with Jane Horrocks.
Yes, I did. Well, that's lovely, because again, another person I've always wanted to work with. Jane.
Win-win.
Yeah, it was a win-win. And I have to be honest, I'm a bit naughty. I do calculate that now I've worked with all of those people, although I haven't. I was in one scene when I walked through them and then I got clumped by Rob, but I haven't really worked with them. But I like to think I have.
That was quite a fun scene to watch, though. Were you there watching them doing their little routine?
Yeah, it was.
That must have been a fun day.
It was a very good fun day. And I'd flown in, I was doing something else in Prague, and I flew back that day, and it was beautiful sunshine, and we had the drone going around doing it. I think they forgot to put the film in the drone first time. Things happen. But it all turned out well. Exactly, one of those hunts.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Yesterday.
Oh,
Great
good.
fun.
Good.
When you were sold the idea, there's a script called Swimming with Men. What was your kind of immediate reaction to the title itself?
Well, I was tickled by the idea. I mean, it's obviously and immediately intriguing. And what I rather like about it is there's no pun in it because we were surrounded by puns. There are puns everywhere with this project. Everybody, even the reviews. I'm happy to quote a splash hit, as it says there. You know, it's bloody everywhere. But Swimming with Men is kind of direct, and it does what it says on the tin.
Absolutely.
And I read it, and I thought, oh, it's really trying to do something quite subtle as well as laugh out loud funny. And that mix, I think, is very appealing. I was directed by the producers towards the documentary on which their script was based. Do you know about that? There's a Swedish documentary, which is a terrific piece of work, made 7-8 years ago, and in Sweden. And you really do. It's slightly more melancholic and existential, I would say, but it's a similar theme. And ours obviously is dressed up in a lot of fun and entertainment, but at the heart, it's still about crisis of middle age. And I think that gives you a kind of real ballast to a story. So the more I got involved with it, the more I realised, oh, this is a treat. You know, you can really, hopefully, give a lot of entertainment, but you're trying to address some themes which are really difficult to talk about. And at a time when, you know, even the image of masculinity is in danger, I would say, you know, and the dark narrative that surrounds it, it's nice to shed a bit of light.
I mean, it seems like one of those scripts that lured a lot of people in. Obviously, you've got a fantastic cast, but it seems like something they read it for the first time and thought, yeah, this is going to be fantastic. You must have been delighted with the talent that you've got, both old and young.
Absolutely. No, but also I knew that we had Rob Brydon initially already involved with it. A great opportunity for him, which he takes with both hands. But then when it said about casting, I went first to Danny Mays because I'd worked with him on on Dad's Army, and he's fabulous in terms of. He's such a great kind of ensemble actor. He's got real energy and attack and, you know, wit. So I went there, and people just started, the pieces of the jigsaw start to come together. And also because you really want variety, suddenly there's Jim Carter conversation to be had. Oh, what a treat that would be. You know, what a wonderful mix of gravitas and twinkle. You know, so, and then, oh, who's the young guy? You want a kind of element of chaos, and actually it was the casting director who suggested Thomas Turgoose, and he's just this wonderful free spirit. I mean, really so spontaneous, and first time I met him I just thought, oh, he's going to be great. So the thrill of bringing them together, and then this man here, Rupert Graves, so stylish, so it's like having different shards of man, you know, and you can start to add different ingredients. And no, I think by the end I was absolutely delighted by the mix of the cast.
It's a pretty big event for you.
It is indeed, it is, yes, from Sweden. I'm not used to standing on red carpets being a documentary filmmaker.
Yeah, of course. When they came to you with the idea that they were going to make this into a film, what was your initial kind of response to it?
Well, actually, the strange thing was after the documentary was made, I was called by producers from Hollywood, different kind of people wanting to do the story, but I knew Stu, who was the producer of the film, and I trusted him and believed that he could make a film that would reflect the issues of what I wanted to do in the original documentary.
Yeah. the cast is pretty impressive. I mean, you have a British cast that's tip top, you know, the best of the best. When you saw that, like Rob Brydon, Jim Carter, all these guys were attached, did that make you feel like this is a story worth telling, that these guys are coming
Well,
aboard
it was for me a very positive sign that my documentary somehow had worked with these guys. They saw the documentary, and that's what they all said, was that that's what the tipping point for them to want to make the film, was to watch the documentary. So I try to make comedy documentaries with melancholy, and somehow it made me feel very happy that I'm doing the right thing with my films. So,
what was your reaction when you saw the final product? Did they do you justice? Did they do documentary justice in terms of a film version?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a very different kind of story to mine. Rob's character Eric is a different person to who I am as a person, but I think that they got the spirit and the sense of fun, and I think it's been a great journey for everybody.
We're talking to all the guys about the training aspect, and how it helped, not just in the movie, because you do a lot of stuff, but the authenticity of the character relationship, and that you had so much time together before you started.
Yeah, I mean, I'd not actually worked with any of the actors at all in the film before, so that was a contributing factor in sort of saying yes to the project in the first place. But you're right, I mean, being sort of forced in the water together, it sounds forced, like we've been pushed in and so told to get on with it. But it did create a brilliant ensemble, really, and it was sort of a very unusual first couple of days, because we were really sort of enveloped by one another, and you don't normally get that. I mean, the whole film has been sort of left field, really, you know. I mean, we got, like, on the first day when you got to your sort of trailer, you normally get champagne and flowers, and we got a tub of moisturising cream each. So I thought, that's a bit different.
Indeed. I mean, it's a great story, but also some great themes about these guys who are kind of overcoming their demons and their fears they've had for the years. I mean, was that very relatable when you read the script, that you thought, not just for you personally?
Yeah, because I think, you know, if the script was, you know, one note and didn't explore why each of them individually are in this group, then I don't think it would have worked. You know, it's about, there's so many sort of serious themes in it about loneliness, and like you say, they're overcoming their own sort of personal demons. I know, like, my character is Colin. He's got, you know, he got the fear when he was younger playing football, and he sort of never played it again. So, and he was a really promising talent. So he says, you know, I can't go out there again. But it's about, through collectively as a group, helping one another, and, you know, you get to middle age, don't you, and you do start to question things. I've only just turned 40 and it's happening already.
Yeah. In the movie, there is a lot of football. I mean, I asked you about the football. Did you enjoy the game last night?
I did, yeah. I actually just watched it on my own in the hotel room because I was up doing an interview, and I was just overjoyed that they made it, really. And we put to bed the old penalties in the World Cup demon, haven't we? So, but I mean, I think Gareth Southgate is doing an amazing job, you know, and he's really got them playing as a team. So yeah,
fingers crossed.
It can only get better.
Thank you so much for your time, mate. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey